Hey, what's up? It's your girl Janae, and I'm here coming to you now with another video. And this video is just going to be basically like a college prep advice and tips for all you incoming freshmen or first timers in college. So this is just advice I would have wanted to know coming in, and I feel like it's very helpful. So let's get started. Okay, so the college that I go to, or university that I go to, is UCF, and that is the University of Central Florida. It's one of those. It's the second largest school in the whole country, and I believe we have like 66,000 students. And it's in Florida. It's in Orlando, Florida, and that's just. And right now, I'm a junior. I'm about to go into my senior year next fall. So yep, let's just get all that preliminary information out the way. And I'm just going to tell you my experience, my freshman experience, and just some advice if you are coming to UCF. And this advice is also helpful if you're going to other universities as well. Okay, so let's get started. So I just got my little paper, my list, and I'm just going to go through it. So what if you just got accepted into your university, and if you haven't thought about this, the first thing I would think about when it comes to college, when it comes to university, is the money. How are you going to pay for this? So I hope that you already did your FAFSA. This video might be a little late because you're already getting to the colleges or they're giving you their decisions. But the first thing you want to think about is definitely the money situation. You want to know how you're going to pay for college, because it costs a lot of money. So first you want to know about your financial aid. Make sure you got your FAFSA completed. If not, you need to get it completed pronto. And also just make sure how many classes you're taking, because that depends on how much tuition you will pay based on the classes you will take. So if you take more classes, it will definitely be more money. I think my tuition at the moment is like $2,000, $2,500. I think, I'm not sure. I don't pay for tuition. I have a tuition waiver. But I would definitely think about the money situation. Make sure your financial aid is in check. If you need any questions, I would suggest calling the financial aid office. Every college and university should have a financial aid office, and I would definitely suggest doing that, because when I was a freshman, I used to go to that thing like every day just to check on my financial aid. So the first thing I would think about is definitely money. You need to see if you're getting loans or grants, because some people only get loans and some people only get grants. So I would definitely think about doing that, because based on your parents' income, or if you're independent or dependent, it will be based on how much financial aid you'll get. If your parents make more money, you'll probably just be getting loans or no financial aid. But if they probably make less money, then you'll probably get a little bit more financial aid. So that's one of the first things to think about. Tip 1. Okay, on to the next tip. Now the next tip would definitely be having all your living situations sorted out before you get to college. Now, going to UCF is a pretty big school, and they do have a lot of dorms, but the thing about it being a big school is that all their dorms, apartments on campus, they fill up really quickly. Like, they fill up for the fall and the spring, probably about like February, March. Whenever you get the decisions, they fill up like that. So I would suggest sorry about that. I would suggest researching and seeing where you're going to live before you get there. Researching before the summer if you can. Start researching once you get that acceptance letter from your college. Start researching if you're going to live on campus, near campus, or are you going to carpool. Well, not carpool, or are you going to drive from your home to school? So, or I forgot what that word is called. Commute. Or are you going to commute to school? So make sure you have your living situations set up, because with me, I was kind of lucky for the summer. I did stay on campus, but once it got to the fall, I did transition to my own apartment, and I had to, I luckily got a spot at the last minute to this one apartment, and the rent was kind of cheaper, but the quality wasn't the best. So even for the apartments around campus, around UCF, those fill up quickly. Mostly the better, more expensive, but better quality ones, those fill up quickly. So I would definitely suggest start doing your research now. Think about your budget. Start budgeting out your rent. If you're going to pay for your rent, if your financial aid is going to pay for your rent, you have to figure all this out now. And I would suggest also calling the financial aid place to see if your apartment or your dorm is connected to financial aid, because I believe on campus with the dorms and stuff, it's connected to your financial aid. Your financial aid will pay for it. So get that done. So living situations is key. Now, next, to go with the living situations, I would also suggest researching if you're going to have a meal plan or not. Now, basically, a meal plan is, I didn't have a meal plan, but it's basically a setup, like you pay a certain amount to get like unlimited or a certain amount of meals to either like a fast food restaurant, a couple fast food restaurants on campus, and you have like a card or something, your probably your student ID, and you can pay for it through that. And there's different kind of meal plans where you want to go to Chick-fil-A, this place, or go to like the buffet place, and this place and this place. There's different meal plans and different prices. If you're on the more cheaper side, I wouldn't suggest getting a meal plan. I would suggest like getting groceries and like cooking for yourself, or if you live close, having your parents cook for you. But meal plans can get expensive, so I would take that into account and not wait till the last moment to see what you finna eat, because in college, like, we be starving. Like I know I was starving, but I cooked like through. I was in the dorms and I kind of cooked. Comment down below if you want any like fast food preparations for the dorm, like the pole meal. Like I've been through the struggle, so comment down below if you want one of those videos. Okay, so another thing I would suggest is registering for your classes. You need to register for your classes early, mostly if you're a freshman, because freshmen have the highest amount of attendance coming to UCF. Like it'd be like 4,000 or even more than that on campus. So I would suggest registering for your classes as early as possible. On my UCF or on your like student account thing, it tells you about the registration date, and usually when I used to register early, make sure I get my classes down. And another thing I would suggest is using Rate My Professor. Rate My Professor, you want to rate what professor you're going on. So for Rate My Professor, it basically students give out reviews to those professors, and they just tell you how the professor was, they were in their class. And I usually, sorry about that, I had to change out my SD card, but yeah, use Rate My Professor to see what professors you have. But make sure you're registering early, because those good classes with the fun professors will fill up quickly. Okay. Another thing I would suggest as a freshman, so this, I'm going to start going into like freshman experiences and what I regret doing or what I would have done differently my freshman year. So what I would have done differently is definitely get involved early. Get into those clubs, student organizations, like get into that mess early when you were a freshman, because they love fresh meat. So when I was a freshman, I ain't do none of that mess. I didn't get into nothing until like my sophomore, junior year, and I really regret that, because there's a lot of stuff out there at UCF. Like it's a lot of organizations, because it's a lot of people, so of course it's going to be a lot of organizations. So I would definitely get into it. I wouldn't suggest like waiting around for somebody to invite you or anything. A useful resource would be Night Connect, and on Night Connect it tells you all the clubs and all their events that they're having each day. Sorry about that. So yeah, I would definitely suggest using Night Connect and get involved early. Search for those events, search for those different clubs. Like there's different business stuff, nursing stuff, law clubs. There's like a club for each major. So the major that you're interested, I would suggest going into the club of that major, because it looks really good on your resume. You have to think about all these things in the beginning of college, just so you can get that full college experience and get all those resources that you're paying for, basically. Another thing, this personally wasn't for me, but it's about changing your major. Now, when you're first an incoming freshman, you will, unless you did AP classes before, you will have to go through prerequisites for probably the first 2 years until you get into your major. Now, people say you will change your major. I didn't change my major. My major is business management, but they say it's okay to change your major. But what I would tell you is that make sure you change your major at the right time and have enough time to change your major, because there are certain like prerequisites that go into your major that will prevent you from like graduating at an acceptable time, like the 4 years that they say. So when they say change your major, change, you can't really change your major too much, because there's certain classes you have to take in order to get into your major. So that's a big deal. So look at your audit, look at what classes you have to take for each major, and just make sure you have enough time for it. Okay, now this is gonna get into like the real stuff. This is kind of personal for me and what I would suggest doing and what I would have did. Well, I did kind of do.